May 2022, Eglin Air Force Base near Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
Hi, this is Janet, and I'm Sly. Back in 2016, we both decided it was time to stop working, buy an RV, and start traveling the country and the world. And once the RV was pretty much the way we wanted it, we started our travels, and we've been doing it ever since. So join us as we explore this country and the world, and maybe we can even meet up with some of you along the way.
We're starting off this week with a drive back down to Navarre Beach. We had some business to take care of down in Navarre, and since we were there, we thought a stop at Windjammers for a drink would probably be in order. It was a good idea. The next day, our friends Glenn and Rachel, who live around here, came down for a short visit. We come down to this area regularly, and every time we come down here, we make a point of trying to visit with Glenn and Rachel. We have a good time with them and we have some good conversation. This time was no different. We had a good time for a couple of hours just eating some snacks, drinking a little, and talking a lot. It was a good visit, and we will see him again before we have to leave this area. After a day of relaxing, eating, and drinking, we decided that maybe it was time to take another walk and enjoy this area. The trees and the flowers and the walks are absolutely beautiful, and the exercise is good for us. So it was a good walk through the woods. So far on our trip here, we've done the beaches at Navarre, Fort Walton, and Destin. This time, we're heading to the beach down in Pensacola. This is Pensacola Beach, not to be confused with Pensacola proper. Pensacola Beach is on a narrow strip of land with the Gulf on one side and the Sound on the other side. It's your typical seaside town, and I really like this little town, and we enjoy coming down here. Like most seaside towns, it's a little bit touristy, but you know, tourists like to go to the beach, so big surprise. Either way, that means a lot of really nice drinking establishments for us to visit. After a short exploration of Pensacola Beach, we decided to make our way to the beach itself. Now, the beach we're going to is not actually in Pensacola Beach itself. It's actually on a strip of land between Pensacola Beach and Navarre Beach. But it's a very nice beach with your typical white sand that is so common up here. I guess when I compare this beach to the other nice beaches at both Navarre and with Destin, this one stacks up pretty well, except for the seaweed on the seashore, which I did not see while we were up there in Destin. But it's still a beautiful beach, and Janet and I enjoyed some time just relaxing. Janet getting out into the sun and catching a few rays. Me, well, I stay more in the shady spot and just enjoy the water. Janet back out in the sun enjoying a good book. So after a fun day on the beach, it's time to go ahead and get some hiking in again. Today we decided to hike Turkey Creek. Turkey Creek is just outside the east gate of Eglin Air Force Base in Valparaiso, Florida. The trail is about 2 miles round trip, and all of it is up on this raised boardwalk. And honestly, the trail needs to be up on this raised boardwalk, because although Turkey Creek is a really nice, clean river, the area around it is one big giant swamp. If you look down from this boardwalk, you realize right away that there is no way you could walk down there, because the whole area down there is one big muddy mess. And the mud, well, it looks kind of deep and mushy. But the river itself is crystal clear and crystal clean, although it might not look that way when you take a look at these pictures. The bottom of this river is sand, not mud, and the color, well, that comes from a reflection of the greenery around it. The river itself is a little cold, but not so cold that you can't swim in it, although there is a current in this creek. The last time we hiked this trail, we saw an alligator in the swamp around the river, but this time we saw no signs at all warning you about alligators, so take that for what it's worth. Well, anyway, after lounging on the beach all day yesterday, it was nice to get out and stretch our legs again by hiking the Turkey Creek Trail. And now it's time for one last day on the beach down here in Fort Walton. We picked the beach down near Destin because we think that just might be our favorite beach for just, chilling in the sun. And after having a great day at the beach, it was time to pack up and get the old RV moving yet again. Once we cleared the RV park, it was a short drive to the gate of Eglin Air Force Base, where again we had to zigzag through these obstructions in order to get off the base. And I will say, that was a lot easier than what we had to do going in. Our drive today is just a little over 2 hours, about as short as they get. And before we even got started, there we are, crossing into Alabama, because our target is Andalusia, Alabama, which is a small town not too far north of the Florida-Alabama border. We're heading to Andalusia because Janet's sister and her husband own a house and some property up here. And their property up here is large enough to accommodate our RV, because we are going to park the RV in their yard for the next month while we travel by car around the country. Price of gas just made traveling with the RV a bit too much, so we're going to do a family visit, and we're doing it with the car. And so the RV is parked. We're spending the night here, but tomorrow morning, bright and early, we hop in the car and start our next adventure. But if you want to see that, you're just going to have to wait for the video to come out in a week or so. So this wraps up this video of our time down near Fort Walton Beach, Florida. And as usual, if you look down in the description below, you'll find a link to every single place we went so that you can find it without working as hard as we did. Janet and I both hope you enjoyed this video and traveling with us across this country. And as we end our time here at Fort Walton, we hope that all of you will join us as we explore our next stop.